Namaskaram everyone, welcome back to the 69th episode of Master Unreal series, and in this one we are going to continue our shop system where our merchant will present the item which is part of the trade request that has been raised by the customer. Okay, so if you haven't seen the previous videos, I highly recommend you check that out, and without wasting any time, let's get started. All right, so let's start. If you guys know from the past, the customer goes to the shop counter, consumes the customer slot, and the customer trading tree gets injected. So if you check the wooden shop table, this is the customer trading tree. And here he was requesting the item, and then he has to wait till the item is presented. Then once he make a trade request, which is made through the shop counter request trade, the trade request then assigns a merchant. Okay. And if we go to components, the merchant component received this event that is to start a new trade, and it goes to the shop counter and claim the merchant slot. So once you do that, the merchant trading tree gets inserted. So now we will work on this one. However, if you notice one thing, your merchant is not focusing the customer. So we have to handle that part as well. So let's stop the game, go back to merchant trading, create a state, and we'll say focus on customer. Then we'll create another state, place requested item. Okay, these are the two states. And first we will deal with the focus. So if you are following me with the state 3 and the smart AI series, basically we had this STT set focus task. But the problem is that it is expecting a controller and we did not have the controller. So what we will do instead is I'll create a new task, and the older audience can modify this one. But considering there are some new people, I'll just create a new task. Under the third person, blueprints, AI, state trees, I'll name it STT underscore focus by actor. When you say by something, that means you have to provide an actor and we will focus via that. So basically you are not expecting a controller, you are expecting an actor. So this is how you can name it better. Then I will save it and enter states. And what I'll do, I'll copy this logic. Okay, so what we are doing, first of all, we are checking whom to focus on. So we'll create this variable. Okay, then if this is a valid, that means you want to focus on an actor which is valid. So we'll set the focus for which we need the controller and the focus on. So we have the focus on which actor you want to focus on, and I'll create this character and I'll say actor. And I'll get the AI controller. Okay, and I'll connect this in the target. Okay, so this solves your problem of controller. And if it is not valid, then you would like to clear the focus. So we will use this same task to set the focus and to clear the focus. And once this is done, we would like to finish the task. Great. So let's put this character into the context category because we are expecting from there, and focus on is an input parameter. So let's put it in the input. Compile, save all. Go back, add the task, focus by actor. And I'll connect the actor here. And now here we need the customer. So how do we get the customer? For that, you need to get the trade request. So the trade request should be present before we start the state 3. So for that, you will use the evaluator. So I'll create an evaluator in the wooden shop table and blueprints, evaluator, state 3 evaluator blueprint base, STT underscore get merchant trade request, or just say merchant trade request. Okay. Now you will add this evaluator right here. Now this will fetch the trade request for you. So let's go inside. All right. So first we need the character or the merchant. Let's be precise. We need the merchant and it is an actor. And now we will go for tree start. So when the tree start happens, we would like to get this. We have the merchant. Let's get the merchant component. So get component by class. And we are looking for the merchant component. Go for this base class. Do not go for the blueprint class. Okay, now we will check whether it's valid or not, because if you are passing someone that does not possess the merchant component, then it's not possible for us to continue. Then we would like to get the trade request. So get the active request, and you can see the function is not showing up because you have not exposed it to the blueprints here. So what I'll do, U function blueprint callable category to merchant component. Okay, let's also expose this function as well, which is available or not. Great. Go to third person map, hit the live coding again. Okay, once you have compiled, you can go back to the merchant trade request, and now you can get the active request. And now we will promote it to variable trade request, and I will expose this in the output category. And I'm going to check it first whether it's valid or not. So user is valid. If it is valid, then get the trade request and get the customer via the function. Okay, this is our getter. So I'll promote this to variable and I'll say customer, and I am going to drag it in the output. And the merchant, it's a context. So let's put it in the context category. Let's put a sequence node in case you want to expose more variables. Okay, so this is all we need. Let's go back to merchant trading, connect the actor, not the smart object actor, and you got the customer and the trade request. So to focus on the customer, you can select the customer like this. Now this is valid because this will not change. No matter what you do, this evaluator will always give you the customer variable. But the trade request can change the structure of storing the customer, and I'll show you later. But first you focus on the customer. Once you are done, you can go to place requested item. Okay. Now let's focus on this requested item. So let's create a task for this, stt underscore place item, or to be precise, place requested item. Here you will go for enter state. If you want to implement something like merchant has its own inventory, like you have the base inventory manager, so you can give inventory to anyone, they can check first whether they have the item or not. And if they don't have it, you can play some animation montage which says, hey, I don't have it, and the tree ends. However, if you do have it, then you present. So I'm making a room for it, but I'm not implementing that side of the logic. So first of all, we will create a function that will say find item or requested. Let's say find requested item. Okay. Now what you will do here, you will check. So for me, I am assuming that it will exist. So I will spawn it directly. And how do you spawn the item is via this b item v2. Remember, whenever you kill someone in the game or break something, you get this as your loot. So I'll open this up and you can see you are expecting item class and the stack count. And this is also a pickable. Okay. So you have the on item picked functionality. Cool. So what I'll do, I'll expose them on spawn so that you can provide it. Let's go back and I'll select v2, b item v2, and now you can provide the item class and the stack count. But to get the item class, you need to access the trade request. So access the trade request and change this to trade request object reference. Change this to input, another variable that is your merchant. So make it actor. And this is coming from the context. Now you might be wondering, why are we not expecting or outsourcing the item class as well? See, you only need to outsource the variables that are required in your state tree. But if something is required internal, then passing an object is a better option because you are not wasting the memory. But what I'm going to do is get this trade request. So we will call this find requested item here. And let's get the trade request, get requested item class, and you can pass this class here. And the spawn transform, let's keep it 0 for now. and I'm going to promote this to variable, and the requested item is this. Okay, and I'm assuming that I found it in my inventory or in my shop, so I'll add this and I'll say be found. Okay, and I'll set it to true. Let's go back, and now you can check whether this is valid or not. So if you found the item, then you would like to proceed. And if you did not find it, then finish the task with false. Now let's say if you found it, then you would like to pick it and you would like to present it. So for this, we need the animation. Now you can get this animation from Mixamo and use the Terribilis Launcher's Mixamo converter to convert it to UE5 mannequin, or you can reach out on Discord to get this animations. So first of all, we need this lifting animation, this one. Okay, you need this animation, and another one that you need is button pushing. So this will be the one to put the item on the desk. So these are the two animations that we need. So I already have them, and what I'll do is in the characters, mannequins, animations, actions, I'll import, and I have this lifting and the button pushing. Okay, so I'll get these two and use the pipeline defaults, and I would like to select the SK mannequin, import. Okay, now I'll right click on this lifting and create an montage, and I'll put this in my montages folder. I'll open this up, save all, and rename it to animation montage present item. Open it up. Now you start picking. Now you are moving it down, which we do not want. So it will be like up to this point, 4.9. Okay. So we have to end the animation right here. So I'll set its end time to 4.9. Okay. So now this is in your hand till the end. Now what I'll do, I'll add another animation sequence next to this, that is button pushing. So let's drag it. And if you see, you push the button and then you bring your hand back. But we do not want like this. We want our hand to be right here. Okay. So from 5.95. Okay. So this is the place where I would like to start. So what I'll do, this ends at 4.9 seconds and this is at 5.95. So the difference is 1.05. So what I'll do, I'll select the button pushing and I'll start it from 1.05. Okay. Now let's see, you pick it up and then you place it. Okay. So this is how it will work out. Great. So let's save this montage and go back to place item, and I'll close all the other tabs to the right. And we need the character or the merchant. Get the skeletal mesh, select it, and now you can play the montage. So play montage and you can get the presented item. Okay, great. Now in this present item, we need to know when you pick the item. So let's see, where are you picking the item? It's right here at 1.5. So I'll create a notification track right here. That is the montage notify. I'll right click 1.5 and I'll name it pick. Okay. Then I would like to place it. So I place it right here, 5.70. I'll drop it. So montage notify 5.7, and I'll say place. These are the two notifications that we will get. So let's go for a switch on name. We will pass this name here. Add two pins. One is the pick. Name it exactly as the name you have given here. And then the second one is the place. Okay, and if the animation completed successfully, it's a true, and if it is interrupted, then we will make it false. Okay, just assume that right now. Okay, so here you are going to pick it. So for this, you are going to use attach actor to component. So what we will do, we'll get this requested item, attach actor to component. So this is the actor, which is your loot in which you have the item. And you need the merchant skeletal mesh. So you will get it right here. All right. Now you need the socket name. So if you remember, you already have it. If I go to blueprints, BP player, and let's open our skeletal mesh. So you are using UE5 rig with me, and we have this hand bone with us, the right hand bone. Okay, and let's go here. So in the hand bone, you have this socket of weapon socket that is inside the weapon R bone. So we are going to attach it here. So copy the name. Let's do F2, copy, and paste it here. Okay, so you have weapon socket. Rest, we would like to keep it relative, and we are going to remove this well simulated bodies. Otherwise, it will persist even when you detach, which we don't want. Okay, so you have attached it in the hands of the merchant. Now, when you release it or place it, I would like to detach from actor. So I'll get this item and I will detach it. And again, let's keep it relative. Now I would like to place it exactly here in the center where the slot is. So what I'll do, I'll go to my smart object that is right here, shop counter, and I want my item to be here. So I can create a parameter here and that parameter will be sent in the state tree. So what I'll do, I'll create a parameter, rename it, and I'll say pickup location or spot center. Okay, this is a center pickup spot. You can create more spots, and this will be of type transform. So let's get the transform. Okay, you have lock rod scale. Great. And let's save it. It's okay. And what we'll do in the merchant trading, we will expect this in the parameters. I'll rename it to pickup spot C. I'll change this to transform. Okay, let's save, compile, and go back to the smart object. And now you can see this variable is available. So what you can do is enable it and bind it with the parameters pickup spot C, which is picking up from here. And now here you need to set the location rotation. So what I'll do, I'll go to wooden shop table, go to viewport, and I'll do a scene component. Okay, and attach it to the default scene root. Take it down. Yeah, I think it's fine. I can go on top. Yeah, this much is fine. And you can go like 0.95, little bit in center. So the item is facing in this direction. What I can do is just copy this location because rot and scale is default. I'll go to this and paste it here. Okay, so you have stored the information. So let's save. Okay, what's the error? The following parameters are not bound. Yeah, it's okay. You can ignore this warning. And I'll go to merchant trading. So you'll receive that location here. Now we will send this here. So first of all, let's add the task that was to place the requested item. You need to pass the merchant. So the merchant is the actor. Trade request. You can get it from Evaluator. And let's get the pickup transform. Let's name it better. Relative pickup transform. Okay. Compile, save, go back. And okay, I have not exposed it. So let's expose it in the input category. Compile, save. And now you can bind it with the pickup spot. Okay. So now you have the spot location. So you can set the requested items actor location, set actor transform, split, and I want you to delay until the next tick because detaching is also changing the transform and right at that time you are also changing the transform, so let there be a difference of 1 tick. Now you need to pass the location, so you can get this relative location, but this is a relative location. Okay, first you have to add the location of the wooden table. What I'm trying to say here is that if you go to your smart object table and go to perspective, this is at 90, but this is at 90 with respect to this table. So if I move my table, these things will also move. So basically here you have the relative location. So you have to subtract that or add that in the tables location, then you will get the world location. This is a relative, we are expecting a world location, so we have to get the smart object first. So I'll say shop table, and I'll say actor, or let's name it smart object, that is to be precise, and I'll put this in the context category. And now I can get it, get world location or get actor location, and I would like to subtract it from here, and I'll put it here. Okay, now you have the world location of that spot, not the relative. So I would like to teleport the item right here. Okay, and once this is done, the animation will end and everything will be fine. So compile, save all, go back to your merchant trading and bind the smart object actor. Okay, let's see this much. It goes, it requests, it focus, it picks up. Okay, so the item is not coming in his hand. Let's see what is the issue. The trade request. So let's check the customer trading. You have not bound the customer, so let's bound the customer here, which is the actor himself. Let's play and see. Okay, the item is spawned, but he is not picking up. Now that is only possible if this attachment is not working. So this weapon socket, let's check the James character. I will go to my James character, open as a skeletal mesh and search for weapon socket. Okay, you see the bone exists on the skeleton but not in this particular mesh. Make sure you make a copy. Please make a copy. I'm not a rigger. I do not know about rigging much, but that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm going to edit this skeleton. It worked for me before, so I'm going to make it work right now as well. I'll search for right hand bone. I'll add a new bone and I'll go for weapon R. So this bone exists in the skeleton but not in my mesh. So I'm going to add it. Once you do that, do not save the skeleton, okay? You just added it, save James character. If you play, you'll see these characters like going really ugly. They are so stretched. Don't do anything, just reopen your project. It will ask you, should we save? You click on don't save. Okay, then go to your project and build it again. Okay, now if you play and you see your character, they are normal. And let's go to the James character and you can see he's picking the gun just fine. So what was happening is that I did not have the bone, weapon R bone in my skeleton of James. And when I was trying in Blender and then I tried to import it in the Unreal, it was not accepting. So I added the bone like this. Okay, let's go back and in B item V2, we will fix this rotation. Okay, so I'll go to item V2 and in the initialize item function right here, change this Z to 180 degrees. So we will turn that entire gun 180 degrees. First, we are going to finish the tree. So let's go back in the merchant trading. And once the item is placed on state succeeded, I would like to finish the tree. And if the state failed, then I would like to fail the tree. Okay, so they will stop here. Okay, so let's observe what is going on. Again, the item is picked and it is not placed, and he's repeatedly picking up the item. So that means he's receiving more than one trade request. So what I'm going to do first, let's resolve why the item is not placed. So you can see he has placed the item here. Why is it going down? It should have been up. So it's 24 in positive and it was 0. So I think that is because the shop counter is 24. It should be negative 24 because in the place requested item we are subtracting. So if I play now, I think I should be able to see the item exactly on the desk. Great. So now let's test why he was picking again and again. So in the merchant component, you can add a print string node to check if he's receiving multiple trade requests. Okay, I'm going to play. Whoa, he didn't even arrive there and he started getting a lot of requests. So this should not happen. So let's go to customer trading. If the requested item is placed, then we would like to make the tree succeed. So this should have ended. So then that means this is going inside our travel behavior because it was part of interact with environment. So I think the customer is constantly going to the desk again and again and causing this state tree to come into execution. Okay, so you see there is a loop. First you go root, interact with environment. Once this completes, you go back to root again and this loops keep going on. So for now, what I'll do, I'll just make the tree succeeded. Okay, no matter if it's failed or completed. Once you interact, the tree is over. And let's connect the print string again here. And you can see it only happened once. And now I think he will be picking up. And that's it, he's done. He's not doing it anymore. Okay, so this is resolved. Now let's see how we can make that weapon equipped nicely. So what I'm going to do is go to my v2. I'm doing this initialize item in the construction script now, so I do not need the event to begin play for those of you who have followed me before. And you see you are accessing the static mesh. So we will ask if you want a skeletal mesh or a static mesh. So let's create a variable spawn sk mesh. If it is true, then we will spawn the skeletal mesh, not the static mesh. Okay, and we will expose it on spawn. Great. So what happens if you have the skeletal mesh? Then in that case, our fragment has to give us. But right now, the fragment is not storing the skeletal mesh. Is go to my C++ class under the fragments, under the mesh fragment, I can expose skeletal mesh. So I'll copy this and I'll say item skeletal mesh and I'll call it use skeletal mesh. Okay. So this will give me an option to take the skeletal mesh. All right, so let's go back, hit the live coding again. Okay, once it is done, you can go to your rifle mesh and let's go in mesh. You can see you have the skeletal mesh option as well. So now I can put my rifle here. Okay, save and compile. And in the V2, here in the mesh fragment, what I'll do, I'll go for a branch node first. Okay, or let's go for a sequence node, then go for a branch node. I'm going to keep this in the second pin. Okay, and I'm going to take this here. All right, so this is my static mesh. If you request for static mesh, we are going to go for this one. And I will add this skeletal mesh component here. We can optimize it later, but for now I'm going for this one. And I'm going to hit compile and add skeletal mesh. So skeletal mesh, set skeletal mesh asset, which is not what we want. So let's go for it again. Skeletal mesh asset. This is what you have to use, not this one. This is editor based. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to connect it here. Okay. Use this one. Otherwise it will not run in your build or in the packaged game. Then we would like to get the new mesh. So I'll get the skeletal item mesh and I'll connect it here. Okay, so now we are going to do this same thing for skeletal mesh as well. Okay, so now we have compile and save all, and by default it will always be the static mesh. And if you provide it true, oh, sorry, wrong branches. I'll pass this here and this one here and save all. Now go to your wooden shop table, place requested item, and in the find requested item, you're going to say spawn the skeletal mesh. Okay. Okay, let's play and test. So it's not going to be that perfect because this animation that we got from Mixamo, you can see now it's almost there on the foregrip. So the thing is like this is from Mixamo and he's grabbing like an object which is like a square shape or maybe a ball like shape. So because of that, you are seeing that little bit of difference. However, we can make our own animation for this one, but I'm going to park it for now. So yeah, the trade request is handled. Now we want a delay. Right now, what is happening is that your customer's trading tree is getting completed almost right when he raised the trade request. But what do we actually want is if you go to wooden shop table, in the customer trading, we want him to wait. So till the item is presented, he will wait. And once the merchant keeps it, then he will collect the item. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments if you have any doubts, suggestions, feedback, or queries. The Discord link is also available in the description. You can find all the assets available on Discord for free. Feel free to join it. And if you like my work and you want to support me, the Patreon and the coffee link is also in the description. We take both one-time and membership options. Please talk to me before buying one. So in the next episode, we are going to wrap this up by introducing a waiting period till the interaction from other side is over, that is the merchant. And like I said, as soon as the merchant places the item, the customer will then start the next task. So the idea is to use the send slot events that comes with the smart object and state tree. So I'm going to show you next, and I'm also going to show you why you should not have used the variables of the trade request and why I insisted on using the function. So we'll cover that in next episode. In this one, we have hit our limit. So I'll see you in the next one. Till then, you take care. Bye bye.